Hey, Freddy with CJ Pony Parts. If you take your F-150 Raptor off-road like this 2012 Raptor clearly does, you can never have too much lighting. Today we're going to give this Raptor a little bit more of a rugged look and better off-road visibility by installing these Oracle LED mirror lights. These Oracle off-road mirror lights integrate into the top of your mirrors and feature 12 1-watt LEDs on each mirror with a total output of 2200 lumens with a color temperature of 6000 K. They have a 45-degree beam angle for increased visibility and are in a rugged polycarbonate housing with acrylic lenses. They're going to give this Raptor a nice rugged look that looks like it could have come from the factory and will really help out with off-road visibility. So today we're going to be installing them on this 2012 F-150 Raptor. Tools you'll need for this installation: 1/4-inch ratchet, 6mm socket, 8mm socket, an extension, 3/8 ratchet, 11mm socket, T20 Torx bit, flathead screwdriver, a file, wire strippers, wire crimpers, and a set of pliers. The first thing we have to do is completely remove the door panel. We're going to start off by removing some access panels here and here. Grab yourself a pick or a flathead screwdriver and pry off this panel right here. Also remove this panel right here, which is inside the door handle. Then remove the 8mm screw that's down inside. Also remove the 8mm bolt behind the door handle. There's also two 6mm screws on the bottom of the door panel you have to remove as well. One here, and then one back here. Lift up on the door panel to remove it, but don't completely remove it because there's still some things connected on the inside. There's two tabs on the other side of this bracket that you can pinch to remove this locking mechanism. And then lift it forward and lift up the ball out of the socket. Remove this connector for the mirror control. Then also the window lock connector. And the locks. Peel back this plastic cover. Unplug this connector that goes to the mirror. Then remove the three 11mm nuts. This stud is connected to a clip that you need to press with your finger in order to completely remove the mirror. We need to remove the glass now. In order to remove the glass, you can pivot the mirror and you can gain access to the 4 clips that secure the glass in place. Here's one of the 4 clips. Just get your screwdriver in there and then twist it, and it'll pop out, and you need to do that to the other 3 clips around the glass. Unplug this connector. And also unplug the heated mirror wires. And set the glass aside. Remove these 4 T20 Torx bits. Use a screwdriver or preferably a plastic pry bar to separate this trim piece of the mirror with the back of the mirror. Unplug the 2 connections to this light right here. Remove this piece of the mirror by pressing on these 4 tabs to remove it. Grab the correct mirror light, fish the wire through the hole, and slide it over. Use the provided screws and washers to secure it in place. Remove this insulator. Use a flathead screwdriver to pry off this piece of trim on the bottom of the mirror. Take the wiring from the mirror LEDs, put it down this hole. Pull it out through the bottom and then push it out the side. Reconnect the light on the bottom of the mirror. Snap the 2 pieces back together. Reinstall the 4 bolts. Reinstall this piece on the bottom. Reconnect the wires on the glass. Gently reinstall the glass by applying even pressure. Run the wire through this hole in the foam. Then reinstall the foam on the mirror. Pry this tab out just a little bit. You can now put the mirror back in the truck. Fish the wires through this rectangular hole in the door, and then install the mirror. Install the 3 nuts. Plug the mirror back in. Now you're going to remove this plastic cover on the door. We're going to be wiring these lights into the factory auxiliary light switches, which is on the other side of the truck, so we have to extend the wires, and we're going to extend them before we go any further just to make it easier. We're going to run the wires in through this hole and then down the door panel and then out through here. Remove this kick panel right here. Once you get the wire out of the door right here, Oracle wants you to run the wire through this connector or underneath of it. We found this to be extremely difficult, and we're going to choose to not take this route. We decided we're going to file a notch right here in the pinch weld and run the wire right here. That way the weather stripping seats properly and we can get the wire inside without damaging it. You can then paint this bare metal so it doesn't rust. Run the wire behind the weather stripping. Put the wire in the notch. And you're good to go. We're going to use this touch-up paint to make sure it doesn't rust. And give it a little bit to dry before we actually run the wire through it. The paint is now dry. We put some electrical tape around the wire. Now we're going to put it around the notch, and we also put a little bit of wire loom right there. Push the weather stripping back on, and then we're going to run this wire over to the glove box area on the passenger side of the truck. We ran the power wire over to the glove box on the passenger side. Now we're going to ground the ground wire right here on the door. In the Raptor, there's actually 4 auxiliary wires that are in the glove box area that aren't being used from the factory. We're going to be using this one right here. It's the yellow wire, which is connected to the first auxiliary switch on the center console. I have both of my power wires here, one from the passenger side and the other from the driver's side. I'm going to twist them together and then crimp them in this connector, and they'll all be connected to the first auxiliary switch. Get the wires in there and crimp it. And now we can test it out and see if it works. These are the 4 auxiliary switches that come in the Raptor from the factory. They're originally not hooked up to anything, but now we have the first auxiliary switch hooked up to the mirror lights. And now that it works, you can reinstall the door panels and clean up the wiring, and your installation's finished. As you can see, these lights are extremely bright and they don't face exactly straight forward. They're a little bit to the side, which is really going to help with visibility driving down the road and off-road. Our Oracle mirror lights are installed. They look great. They're super bright. They actually look like they could be a factory option too. They're really going to help out driving down the road and off-road because of how wide the beam is. Installation should take about 3 to 4 hours, and before you know it, you'll be heading down the road.